Hey, this is Matthew Justice, second fucking gear crew, and you're listening and you're watching Turnbuckle Tavern.
Welcome back. This is the fucking GCW show. I'm your co-host, Chad. With me, as always, the motherfucking truth, Mike Belcaster. What's going on, Mike?
Jack shit, man. Very, very happy to be here after a wonderful weekend of some good old pro wrestling, man.
Yeah, it was loaded, man. We kicked it off with obviously what we're here to talk about, People versus GCW. We get SummerSlam, then we get Ric Flair's last match, which had a heavy GCW presence there. We'll get into that. Yeah. I forgot to hit our trademark. We are coming from the spooky dust. We're emerging from the spooky dust. Yeah, we got some good stuff, guys. Just to follow anything we do, we drop typically every other Monday we come live. You can catch us on our Apple Spotify feed under the Turnbuckle Tavern. If you want to find anything we do under our umbrella, theturnbuckletavern.com. Also, a shout out to our brothers in arms, the Pod Foundation. Find them on Instagram and Twitter. And it's a special episode because, you know, we're talking People versus GCW. I just mentioned the Pod Foundation. We have one of our brothers from the Pod Foundation who's going to stop by because he was there front row getting some firsthand spooky dust in the face. I say we bring him in right now. Let's bring in.
Let's do it.
Seth from the Chick Foley Show.
I'm gonna shake your hand. He's jabbing the dusty.
It's called working.
Seth.
That was a hell of an intro, man. This is the first time being on the show because I always just listen. I never really watch the stuff on YouTube, so I've heard it before, but I hadn't seen it, man. That was pretty intense. I feel like I got a lot to live up to now.
I love it, man.
Love having you on. You've done the debate before. We've came on the Chick Foley Show before. It's rare for someone to get to come on to the fucking GCW show. You extended the invitation because you're like, hey, man. Me and Sheena are going to be front row at People versus GCW, and we're going to get into that. But give everyone who maybe doesn't listen to our other stuff and only dips into the GCW show, let everybody know about Chick Foley Show.
So yeah, my lovely wife Sheena, she is also known as Chick Foley on Instagram. She's been going for about 7 years now, so I think most wrestling fans on the internet know about her. But we got the Chick Foley Show. You can find it anywhere you find podcasts, and just follow her on Instagram. She's always posting some funny stuff and just kind of keeping up to date on all the latest in the wide world of wrestling.
That's awesome. And Mike, you referenced Seth wearing a very Emil J appropriate Royal Rumble throwback hat.
I mean, come on, look at that. The thing just screams.
Yeah, this came from WrestleBuds. Definitely check him out. He is always cooking up some really awesome, like, you know, modern bootlegs, whatever you want to call the reproductions, but they're top notch. And then he also makes some really awesome edibles too, if that's kind of your thing as well. So if you get some sweet wrestling gear and you can get some really tasty treats to help you kick back and watch that wrestling. But yeah.
That's
my big fan of WrestleBuds.
So yeah, I guess, you know, enough dicking around. Let's get right into the meat. We got some top stories to go over, and then we'll break down the matches later on. But yeah, let's get into the meat. So the meat, we got some top stories. We're going to get into Mox and Blake Christian, obviously the big match of the weekend. I've got some updates on why we aren't getting as many video packages as we used to get, Mike. You know, we were high on those video packages, and we've in recent episodes been talking about how they haven't been churning them out. Got some news on why that may be. Also, GCW filing a trademark similar to an AEW trademark. A lot of news, but the first thing I want to kick off, we've got Seth. You were there front row, saw some awesome footage from you guys there. I'm guessing this is your first GCW experience. So just set the stage for us. Give the smells, the sounds, the sights. Walk us through your first time going to a GCW show, Seth.
So it was pretty wild, man. So the show didn't start till 10:30, right? Which is perfect for me. I'm a night owl, but Sheena's usually in bed by 9. You know, my wife, Sheena Chick Foley, she's really kind of like she's a modern day farmer. So she's usually up, with the sunrise and stuff. So I wasn't even sure if she was going to even make it, but she popped a few caffeine bars and powered through. So we get to the fairgrounds, which was a weird setup. They're like the Nashville fairgrounds. They're kind of under construction right now. So the whole thing just had a rough feel from the start. We had to walk through like a gravel parking lot, and then like it's dark as hell, but we kind of see this glimmer of light off in the distance, and we're like, I think that's it. And so we followed along, and we get lined up about 30 minutes before the doors open, which was great because it was some prime people watching.
I bet.
We're all decked out in our wrestling gear. We were clearly marks. But it was, the crazy thing is, man, so you had your typical, the GCW hardcore. You had your people look like, they were definitely juggalos 7 or 8 years ago. And then you had some other just randos, man. Like I'm talking people guys in their late 50s. And I'm looking at some of these people and I'm just like, how in the hell did you find yourself at a GCW show at 10:30 on a Friday night? And so prime people watching. I do want to give a salute. I kind of wish I would have went and introduced myself to this lady when she walked by. There was a lady, I don't know if she's single mom or whatever, but there was a lady with her son who he was maybe 10 or 11 years old. You could tell this lady had no earthly idea what GCW was, but she was there taking her son, getting in line to get in the stadium. And I was just like, salute to you, lady. I hope that little boy knows how lucky he is to have a mom that loves him like that, man.
Absolutely. Take your 10-year-old to a GCW show at 10:30 at night.
Yeah. So I know, I could see myself being that 10-year-old kid, because ECW was kind of the same thing for me when I was a kid. And that's really what I think of GCW. It's this underground thing, really, really awesome. You feel like it's about to blow up and really, go up on the national stage and everything. And so I just, like I said, that kind of hit me in the feel spot, seeing the mom and the little boy going into the GCW show. We were kind of nervous, man. So we get in, seats are taped. Jordan scored us, the Fig God, another member of the Chick Foley show. He scored us front row seats. It was really cool because I thought it was going to be like the NWA show where you pretty much just get in where you fit in, just somewhere on the front row. But they actually had the seats named. They had them labeled. They had Jordan W on 4 front row seats.
Oh, wow.
So there's no issue getting our seats. And as rough as the crowd kind of looked, everybody was super duper friendly, man. That was one thing that I was surprised by because I was thinking it was going to be like a 90s ECW crowd, like kind of hostile, especially I was rocking an In Your House Buried Alive shirt. So I'm WWE'd out, man. I got The Undertaker and Mankind on my shirt, right? And to the point where me and Jordan had talked, dude, should we sit on because we had both our wives with us. We had Sheena and Jordan's wife, Ari. We were like, should we put the wives in the middle, just in case shit gets out of hand? Not that I'm some kind of badass who's going to be throwing bows, but at least I could offer some resistance if a riot breaks out. Right. But no, the crowd was super supportive. People were into the matches. They were respectful to the wrestlers. The times when there were botches, there were no you fucked up chants or anything. It was just people that loved wrestling, man. And I put this show, I still got to give it some time to digest, right? There's always recency bias, but in my mind right now, this was the second best wrestling show I ever went to besides NXT San Jose at WrestleMania 31.
Wow.
We went that kind of legendary house show at WrestleMania 31. They call it the Untakeover. It was kind of the last big NXT show they did before they started broadcasting them all on TV. And that was a really special night. I put this number 2 to that, man, because it was just so much freaking fun all night long.
I bet,
awesome,
man. Front row and just knowing the event that we got and all. I mean, these guys lay it on the line. They're pulling shit out that's like they're going for broke. Almost, they're not holding anything back. They're not tapping into ring psychology. They're just wanting to shock and awe.
They're going hard. It was fun. We'll get into it when we go match by match. I think this show was one match away from being a perfect card. There was one match that they got rid of. I would have given this straight up 5 stars. Could not have been better. But I'll save my criticism for once we get into match by match.
So when me and Sneed went to a deathmatch tournament I believe a year and a half, 2 years ago, called Masters of Pain. Now, it was put on by IWA Mid-South, but they were kind of like partnered up with GCW because Brett Lauderdale was there, Jimmy Lloyd, G Raver, a lot of like Alex Colon, all of the big deathmatch guys were there. And it was the first deathmatch me and Sneed had ever went to. So when we walked in, it felt like an old punk rock show to me. Like that, it felt like their fans were more clicked in than like an AEW or WWE show where you might just get people that see it on TV, but they're not like diehard. And we go in there, every guy, there's a chant there, and the fans are keyed in on every single guy. And I imagine I've yet to get to go to a GCW show, but I imagine that it's that feeling. Like you feel like you're a part of this like super in the know, tight knit kind of fan base.
Definitely. Like I said, it was just like you said, everybody was in tune with the wrestlers, which I'm a casual GCW guy. I'll watch the big shows and stuff, but I don't follow it as closely as you guys do. But I had to jump at the chance to go to a live show. But yeah, people were, making references to matches from years gone by and stuff and everything. Yeah. Like the crowd knew these performers inside and out. One other thing I want to say, not to bury NWA, but it's a direct comparison for me because me and Jordan went to NWA Always Ready back on June 11th in Knoxville. And me and him were kind of arguing on the way to the show about who's higher up right now between NWA and GCW for like that next level below AEW and WWE. I was thinking it was kind of close. After going to this show, GCW is on a whole nother level from NWA. Just the professionalism, the way the whole show operated, the venue, everything. Like GCW they're primo, man. Like I cannot recommend it enough. If you're listening, if they're somewhere within 4 or 5 hours drive and go to the show, you will not regret it.
That's high praise because I remember hearing the Pod Warriors episode where you guys buried the seating situation at NWA.
NWA was fun, but it was definitely an indie show, right? NWA felt closer to like the shows I used to go to as a kid at the bars in Bowling Green, Kentucky, like the the Outlaw Mud Show wrestling. I'll go to there. Like NWA was a couple steps above that. Where GCW, it was super professional. Brett Lauderdale was cool. He came out and was greeting fans at the start, taking pictures. He was actually working the merch stand right up until about 5 minutes before the show went live. Brett Lauderdale. So if you could go up there and get a T-shirt and get a fist bump and a selfie with Brett and everything. It was just
that's
it was awesome.
Really cool. They still they haven't got big enough to lose that grassroots feeling that they have, and I think that's what fans love them for. Like no apologies. So. The big news, we in the weeks leading up, we've been blowing smoke up Blake Christian's ass for weeks now. And it seemed like the writing was on the wall. Not that, a straight up match. Obviously, I'm going Mox all day, but just with Mox being the champion in AEW, I thought this was the way they were building Blake. Maybe this was a way that they could take it off of Mox where Mox could focus on that. But we know how Mox is. Mox loves GCW. He loves having that 1 foot in the indies, 1 foot in the majors. You were not shocked by Blake taking the L, Seth. What was your thoughts going into this match?
So I never thought it was impossible for Blake to win because it's wrestling. But I wasn't super familiar with the guy until I saw him on the Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor show.
Yeah.
And I'd heard you guys hyping him up before that. I think I'd listened to the episode where you guys really were blowing him up a couple days before the show. And then I see him. And I was messaging directly with Mr. Bellcaster here. And I was like, dude, there is no way this guy's beating him clean. I was expecting some fuck finish because, from watching wrestling all these years, you guys are 100% right. It felt like it's coming time to move that belt back onto somebody with a little bit more of a regular presence in GCW. Right. But, dude, Mox is a big guy, man. Like, sometimes it doesn't stick out. When you see him on AEW every week, but seeing him at this show, like he was one of the biggest guys we saw all night, man. Like he's a big dude. And the way Mox just carries himself, everybody else on the show was great. Mox was on an entirely different level, man. Just the presence from the moment he came out, like Nick Gage was the only person even coming close to him as far as just capturing the crowd. But yeah, Mox, like being front row, seeing him, he was already one of my favorites. You guys know they make fun of me on the Chick Foley show for Mox being one of my man crushes, him and Dolph Ziggler. But just the little things he did, man, just the way he's going in and out of the ring, putting on headlocks, everything was just so smooth, so believable. You couldn't see through the work at all, man. Mox is the man. And like I said, I was still expecting maybe like you get a Matt Cardona or maybe Nick Gage comes back out, some sort of fuck finish to set up a feud down the road and get the belt off of him. But we kind of just got the standard, plucky underdog, shows heart, but comes up short storyline, which is a classic match template, and it worked. But I was bracing. I kept looking back because you guys had me spooked thinking Mox was going to drop the belt. I kept peeking back to the backstage to see if you had a camera guy focused, ready to capture somebody coming out, but it never happened, man. Mox kind of just got the 1, 2, 3.
Man, he's got to be right now. Like, Mike, what do you think? Like, Mox right now, he's a top 3 in the business for me right now.
No, absolutely, man.
Like,
yeah, I mean, he's the only guy to get the rub from AEW, GCW. I mean, he's been everywhere. New Japan. He's running shit right now. And the fact that he didn't drop the title here, it makes it just that much better because he's just the guy carrying everybody right now.
I wish he would come out with a belt on AEW. Is there a reason? Do we know why? Is there a reason why? Does GCW not want the belt on the show, or do we know where that's coming from? Because
it's a great question.
I feel like it would give GCW a rub. It would make Mox look even like more of a big deal. Like I don't understand why. Because when Nick Gage fought Jericho when he was the champ, Gage didn't have the belt with him either. So that's why I'm wondering if it's coming from AEW side or GCW side, why they don't want to have the belt on TV.
I can't imagine Brett Lauderdale not wanting that belt on national TV. I mean, unless there's some like just purist, we don't want our indie championship on a main. But
that's what I was saying. They don't want to lose that street cred. You really can't put a price on that. That's something that's so valuable. They still have that just credibility with the hardcore fans,
It's true, but at the same time, I feel like that's probably why Mox is holding this title. Like he wants to be there. If you've got a guy like Moxley who likes being there, because I think I'm wanting to say in his interview with Renee on his most recent appearance on her Sessions podcast, he talked about he loves going to GCW shows and just handing out advice with the younger guys and passing that down. Like he loves that. And, he came from CZW. This guy, he cut his teeth with Sammy Callahan back in the day, having crazy wild ass matches. So he's, he fought Nick Gage before he was Dean Ambrose, so he's kind of cut from that cloth. But man, like they announced, I gotta say, we blew smoke up Blake's ass like so hard in the last episode. And then right after that episode, they announced that Mox will be at Homecoming, which is the next big GCW show. As soon as they announced that, I was like, we're wrong. Like he's gonna win that belt back. Like they're not keeping him around. But I guess now the question is like, who's the guy to take it off of him? Is there anyone in sight?
It's a tough one, man. I mean, you could literally go over half that roster. Full names, just draw them out of a hat and be like, this is the guy, this is the guy. Could be your Mike Baileys, could be your Jordan Alvers, could be your Banditos at this point. I think Janella would be the guy though. I feel like he just had he is GCW, man.
I would love that because right now, I love Joey Janela, but he's definitely in that position of put a guy over, win one, put a guy over, win one. I would love to see them really get behind him and give him a viable heel run and have him take it off of Mox, or because Mox cut that killer promo a couple months back where he was like, who's going to step up and take it from me? Because somebody out there is going to meet me and he's going to be the one to put me down. And there's all these guys that they could obviously give a push to, but I'm still kind of like, have we met the guy that they're going to push to take over Mox? I don't know if we have.
It's tough. It's
very
tough.
It's a similar problem to what WWE's got going with Roman Reigns right now. When you build up somebody this awesome and put the belt on them, it takes something equally awesome to get rid of it. So I could see Joey Janela doing it. I feel like if that's the case, we need to see Mox run with that belt a little bit longer. I want to see like a slow burn story. Let's have Joey Janela come up short, come up short a couple times and then just go to a place he's never gone before to finally get rid of Mox,
Yeah.
I'd be here
So you
for
can do
that.
that, yeah. And then there's always the fuck finish where you just have whoever come out and interfere and cost them the belt to
You
spin off
can't do
something
that
else.
in this one, though. I feel like this is a situation where you have to. It's kind of like I think of Undertaker's streak, and I have my issues with Brock taking it because I feel like Brock didn't really need it, but the Undertaker streak to me was built up so long. If you were going to end that streak, I felt like that was the opportune time to pass the torch to the next guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And this to me, it's like whoever beats Mox, this should be like, hey, we're making someone. This is our next guy instead of just passing it to a Cardona or I don't know, man. It's
what do you think about
situation.
Nick Gage getting it back, man? And just really establishing him as the guy. Because I think he's on the level. I could see him straight up beating Mox. I think he's at that level.
Yeah, he could because
he doesn't need it though. He's already a made man as far as GCW goes.
Right.
That's the
He doesn't need a belt at all. Like because he had the belt.
Then Cardona had a short reign,
Cardona,
and then Mox got it from Cardona in that scramble match. Yeah.
And Cardona's out for a good bit. I don't think he'll be back until first of the year.
Yeah, he's still got another couple months, and I think he's getting a little bit more deeper entrenched in Impact and stuff right now. Also, so I don't know how much he's really going to be doing the GCW thing.
He took a hell of a diamond cutter last night, though.
Yeah, he did.
yeah. It's going to be interesting because he's playing that heel role in almost every company he's in. He's building this kind of impressive heel streak. I mean, NWA, and he's hurt. So, another bit of news before we get into the matches is I talked about the video packages. Like when we first started doing this show, man, they had some of the best video packages. And the reason Joey Janela brought this up in his interview with Renee on Sessions, he talked, and it was just kind of a passing comment that he made, and I had to go look it up. But Giancarlo, who used to work for WWE, he was the man behind all of the kick-ass WWE promos. He was the man he started working for GCW. All the promos we loved, the vignettes, the packaged, produced pre-tapes, he was behind. He now works for AEW as a digital content producer. So they've scooped him up around the time that we started complaining, hey, where'd all these videos go? They gotta replace that guy, because that's what drew me into this company more than anything, was these video productions they were putting on. It was insane.
Top tier, high quality, everything. Like, it made you goosebumps every time. Didn't matter what the fuck was going on. Could have been Alex Zane putting hot sauce on a taco, and you'd be like, "Fuck, I love this thing."
And the good thing about those, it allows somebody, like, because there's been a lot of times where, like, we're having like a barbecue or whatever, and we have a few people over, like, on the night of a pay-per-view, and I'm still watching wrestling. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not watching on delay, so I'll just have it on, and people will sit down and start watching it. And if you got like a little 2 or 3 minute video, it gets people instantly hooked, right? They're like, okay. Because wrestling's it's rarely like super detailed to where you can't fully understand what's going on in a match with, a 3 or 4 minute recap, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The 3 or 4 minute recap can pull almost any casual observer in.
Yeah.
But it bummed me out. I'm like, that's why he's working with AEW now, and I can kind of see it in some of the recent AEW, some of the pre-tapes that they do. I'm like, okay, I see that now. But he was a big guy in the industry working for GCW. Giancarlo, you will be missed. Another thing, GCW filed for a trademark, I believe last week. They filed for the trademark Fight Forever.
Interesting.
And this is the AEW video game trademark, Fight Forever. But I guess Fight Forever is going to be, it was one of the events that GCW put on a couple years ago where they did a 24-hour show. If you remember, I think Tony Deppen had like a 90-minute match during it. But yeah, it was 24 hours of wrestling, and I guess they were trying to copyright that event name.
I think it was on Twitch, I think is where they streamed it at. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And the other big thing I wanted to talk before we get into the matches was, and it kind of happened at People versus GCW, was GCW's presence at Ric Flair's last match. So early in the night, Nick Gage, Conrad Thompson sitting front row. Did you guys see him sitting there?
So we're breaking kayfabe on this show, I guess, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Conrad showed up maybe 45. Actually, I think Conrad showed up after Nick Gage's entrance. I think Nick Gage made his entrance. Obviously, every eyeball in the building is drawn to him. I think they snuck Conrad down right then and from there.
Yeah,
I don't even
figured.
think he was there when he came out, man.
I
Which
figured-
also, Nick Gage, he stood on our seats. When he came to our corner, he had 1 foot on Sheena's seat, 1 foot on my seat, and he was right there, man.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Yes, dude. His
That's
entrance
awesome.
was insane. Yeah. I don't know. I need to get Sheena to do a hard post. She's put it on her story. She got a very aggressive fist bump from Nick Gage, dude. It was just it was awesome, man. Like his entrance was unreal, dude.
So Nick Gage calls out Conrad Thompson. I have the clip here. Let's check it out.
I would like to extend a very warm welcome and thank you on behalf of the entire Game Changer Wrestling family to the man who helped make all this possible, the man behind StarCast. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only Conrad Thompson.
Conrad Thompson, podcast legend.
Yes. And there's a show Sunday to send out a man who made me love professional wrestling by the name Ric Flair. At the National Auditorium. So, Conrad, you got a fucking problem with me? You got a problem with GCW?
I mean, he's here. I don't think he has a problem with GCW, but Nick Gage unhappy.
You didn't give us an invite, Conrad, and I'm gonna give you a fair warning right fucking now. We're coming to that auditorium, and you can call the cops, you can call Pussy Atlas Security, but GCW's gonna kick that fucking door down, and we're gonna take over that motherfucker.
Well, Nick Gage issuing a bit of a warning to Conrad Thompson ahead
Know
of
why?
Sunday's
Because we're the
event in
last
Nashville.
outlaws in this motherfucking business.
I think Conrad has heard enough.
All right, so clearly they definitely snuck Conrad out before Nick Gage. I do remember them now because we got a thank you Conrad chant going. Just wanted to point out it was probably about 12:45 local time when all this was going down, and I'd been drinking since about noon that day, so it got a little bit hazy. But yeah, we definitely had the thank you Conrad chant going before before Nick Gage's music hit. Hey, something so funny, I didn't even fucking put 2 and 2 together, man. They whenever the ring announcer was like, we got the king backstage, all I could think is, why is Jerry Lawler here? Jerry Lawler's all about Memphis. He's not about Nashville. And then as soon as the bell hit, I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot. I thought we were about to get King coming out there, dude. I was like, oh, we're getting some old school Tennessee shit.
It's fantastic.
So when this happens, and obviously we know GCW is going to show up at Ric Flair's last match in some way. I didn't know how they were going to do it, but they had that bunkhouse battle royal,
right?
And crazy, GCW shows up. The Southern psychopath Mance Warner ends up winning by eliminating Bully Ray. I've got a clip of the finish here. Pretty cool to see GCW get a spotlight on a show with a lot of big stars.
Tennessee, right buck snort, and Bully Ray looking to send him out, but he turns it around on him and Bully's to the floor. Old Manser is your winner.
The winner of the Bunkhouse Battle Royal, the Southern Psycho, Mance Warner!
Well, it worked out for Nick Gage bringing the GCW crew to invade tonight's event as Mance Warner from Game Changer Wrestling.
What a
Pretty cool.
moment.
Yeah, very
At
cool
that
moment.
spot.
I mean, and they throw out, Bully Ray, who's the hardcore guy in the battle royal.
ECW original.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome, man. A really, really cool spot. I love the way how the invasion of GCW came about in there too, because I didn't watch this GCW show until after. So I was like, what the fuck's going on? But she did it so well.
It shades when ECW invaded Raw, you know, back in like 96 and 97, man. Going back to the ECW, GCW comparisons.
Speaking of which, we got Young Anthony in the chat, and he says Lawler being at a GCW show would be brilliant. ECW 97 style.
Yeah.
Nick Storm's in the chat. He says Buff Bagwell takes the title.
Oh.
It looks like with that recent picture circulating, it looks like Buff Bagwell's about to run for office. Like he's like a politician now.
He's going back to Marcus Alexander Bagwell. The Buff's gone.
yeah. American males.
Yeah.
His running mate, Scotty Riggs.
I'm here for it.
I think I would vote Bagwell Riggs right now, man. I can't say for 100% I wouldn't vote for them.
Oh, yeah. I take my vote. Take my vote. All right. So before we get into the matches and break all of that down, I figure we'd do a little buffer and get some top fucking tweets in.
GCW top fucking tweets.
All right. There's some good ones, Mike. Queuing it up for
as
you.
Always.
Top fucking tweets. We're going to kick off with kind of our top tweets all-star, Mr. Emil J.
All right. Depending on how it is executed from here on out, every powerbomb off the top rope will either be called either an awesome bomb or the blonde bombshell by me on commentary out of respect for Mike Awesome and Chris Candido. I'm here for that shit.
Respect. Chris Candido. So underrated.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Underrated.
Mike Awesome, too, at this point. Nobody talks about him enough anymore.
To me, he's like an all-time what if in wrestling. Like, I feel like, obviously, we know his life was cut way too short, but I feel like if he just would have went straight to WWE, I feel like the fat guy Thriller gimmick just killed his buzz, man. Because some guys can overcome it, you know what I mean? But for some people, like when fans see you a certain way, it's hard for them to ever see you any different, you know?
Yeah.
And he was just such a beast in Japan and ECW, and then WCW just wrecked him, man. That short run he had in WCW, I think, just really kind of deep sixed his chance with like the mainstream American audience.
Dude,
100%.
so many people lost their careers to that last 2 years of WCW.
Circling the drain era of WCW.
Yeah, I think Tony Schiavone calls it a coffin on roller skates.
Yeah, coffin on roller skates going downhill.
All right, next tweet, we got Nick Gage.
King of this shit shares a picture of his new Major Bendies, not just the Major Bendy, but the Major Chase. Very awesome. You can get them at the Major Pod website. But this shit crazy. I'm gonna run Zack Ryder's pockets next time I see it. I love it, man.
Like I love that they had that feud. It blew GCW up. I mean, anyone who's denying the Cardona effect on GCW,
he brought new eyeballs to the product.
Yeah, man. And now they talked so much shit. I mean, he showed up at the the major live event. You know, there was the videos coming out. I think Tom from the debate, you know, our own Tom, OG Fig Kid, he was there. He had video of Nick Gage running in on that.
All
and
fucking
now
day.
Cardona's giving him figures. You know, I love the kayfabe, non-kayfabe aspect of wrestling. Like you can be at each other's throats, but Cardona is giving more love to Gage in probably any way he's ever had, as far as getting him action figures and things like that. It's really cool.
Hell yeah.
All right, next tweet, we got ultra violent champion Alex Colon.
Steve's way of telling me to suck it up is sending me a YouTube link to Tripp's Tough Enough lecture where he shits on people for being hurt and sore.
That's such a great speech Trips gives in that first season.
What's he talks shit? He talks shit to the poor guy with the Goldberg shirt on and stuff. Like,
that season is underrated, man.
It's a good one, man.
It's a good one. All right, next up we got Tony Deppen.
Oh yeah, Zane, Blake, and I were supposed to be at Trios before the world shut down. We've traveled the country together, and now it's time to show up on the bigger stage tomorrow night. This is for us.
And obviously he's referencing the 6-man they had at the ROH pay-per-view.
Yeah. It was great.
Great
match.
I love both of those, all three of those dudes, you know, Zane, Christian, Deppen. It was kind of weird. I was kind of pulled out of that match just a little bit because I was like, where's Tully? They booted Tully for.
Did we ever get any backstory on what happened with Tully? I heard something about he just decided to fulfill some of the obligations with his prison ministry and said fuck it. But I don't know. I've been watching wrestling long enough to know there's got to be something more to the story.
Tony Khan, Tony Khan was on a interview and he referenced it, and then I read somewhere that he no-showed. Like some people said it was the prison ministry, but he just basically no-showed. Tony played it pretty professional and was like, didn't close the door on him and was like, maybe we can work together again in the future. But
yeah, it's wrestling.
It's wrestling. But I will say it makes me think the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because Tessa Blanchard has been known to no-show.
Not known for being the easiest to work with, man. She's not winning co-worker of the month at any point.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So, all right, next tweet, we got Brett Lauderdale, the man himself.
Shane Mercer does things that 99.99999999999% of humans can and shouldn't be able to do. Hashtag people versus GCW.
Dude, when he launched Marco Stunt into the crowd, the power of this kid. Shane Mercer was we've interviewed him in our archives. Go back on the YouTube channel and you can check out Shane Mercer. But man, he is a physical, like one of the strongest guys I think in wrestling that nobody talks about.
Oh yeah.
We got one from Blake Christian.
Win or lose, tonight is a big moment for me. But you better believe Mox is gonna have to kill me to win tonight.
He almost did, man. It got pretty violent, dude. He's grinding the glass in his face and stuff.
It was great, man.
We got Joey Janela.
Oh, the bad boy. Almost canceled the signing due to increasing hostility and threats from the fans. Well, I move that over. I will not risk an incident with a fan with nothing to lose. But we've come up with a solution thanks to the guys at Bullet Blockers. I will now sign in a bulletproof box. Can't wait to meet you all. Man, how awesome would that be to show up to a fucking show and see Joey Janela behind a bulletproof?
Dude, he's still like, I don't know if he's working us, but I know in a lot of his interviews here recently, he talked about it. I keep referencing Renee's Sessions podcast, but she just keeps talking to the right people for this show to reference it. But he talked about how every show he goes to now, he is dealing with pretty wild cult of Cornette fans, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and he's getting to the point where he doesn't know what one of these guys is going to do.
Oh,
the heat didn't seem that bad on Friday night. I mean, he definitely had some heat, but it wasn't that intense, which, you know, we're down in Nashville. GCW is really, the East Coast is really where the hardest of the hardcore are at, you know?
Right.
Well, they had that fan show up at the last show with the Cornette sign, and fucking, you know, Janela lit him up. Like, fuck you motherfucker.
I didn't see any Cornette presence whatsoever. I didn't see any shirts, no signs, no nothing.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So we got another one from Alex Colon.
Just because I am a DM guy doesn't mean I'm a second-class wrestler. I train just like everyone else and earn my respect long before the light tubes. Biased promoters and bookers can fuck off. Money doesn't make you important, neither does clout. Wise words.
Hey, I appreciate the DM guys that you can reach out to, and they're not unreachable. And you know, like I appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
We got one from Marco Stunt.
I've been in a huge funk lately, and not exactly myself, but last night was so fun, and I got to be myself and just enjoy myself in the ring, which I haven't been doing. Today is my birthday, though I am going to make it a good day. Good stuff. Happy birthday, little fun size giant.
I feel like he's hurt.
Marco.
Yeah.
I love Marco. I feel like he's hurting after that AEW release, man. I feel like I've heard some interviews with him. I feel like it kind of like left him.
I mean, I'm still upset that they replaced him with Christian, dude. I felt like Marco, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy was an awesome package, and Christian never felt right for the start. I get it. He's a bigger star. Like, there's no denying that. But I prefer Jurassic Express with the side of Marco instead of
Me too. And my whole thing is like, why did you have to move him out to put Christian in? Because now that we're in this situation with Christian and Jungle Boy feuding, Marco could have been a fun piece to that puzzle to play with. I feel like they botched it with Luchasaurus.
I don't know what happened with Luchasaurus. To me, that reeks of like WWE style. You get like 2 weeks into something and they're like, you know what? We fucked up. Let's just hit the retcon button and roll him back out there. I don't know. Obviously, none of us are backstage at AEW. I cannot imagine that the plan from the jump was just to be like, oh, now he's a face again. You know what I mean? I think it has to do something with maybe Luchasaurus was mad because I know Luchasaurus is probably thinking he's not going to sell as much merch as a heel as he would as a babyface or something. You know, I don't know. I really want to know. I'm very intrigued on the behind the scenes details on how that went down. But I was going to say, hopefully Tony Khan realizes there is a huge pop to be had if once Christian and Jungle Boy had the big blow off, somehow Marco Stunt gets involved and helps Jungle Boy out, man. I think people will erupt for that.
Yeah, now he's in the canon of their story. So it's like you can bring that guy back at any moment and get a monster pop.
Yes.
Yeah. And not to mention they got trios titles now. And you know, Jurassic Express was fucking fun. It was good when all three of them were out there. So
very true.
Hopefully they figured that shit out.
All right. Another one from Emo J. This one's very simple.
Hattie B's.
Need Jordan on here, man. So we went to Hattie B's. We waited in line for it. It was good. It was a solid B+, man. We were expecting a life-changing meal, and it wasn't that. Now, I don't know how deep you guys are into the Nashville, the Nashville hot chicken scene. You know, I'm from Bowling Green, Kentucky, like an hour away from Nashville, so I'm all about it. Hattie B's is like the prime spot now. They're the most well-known. If you're a tourist coming in, that's where you're going to go because it's nice and clean.
That's the tourist spot.
There, but it's not the OG. There's a place called Prince's that's the true OG, and it's just a little shack, man.
I've heard of that place.
It's just a little shack. So next time I go to Nashville, I'm going there, dude. I think that's the real deal. Hattie B's was good. Don't get me wrong. It was a good meal, but like I said, we were expecting something life-changing, and it wasn't quite that.
I want to say, did Anthony Bourdain go to Prince's Hot Chicken, maybe?
Yeah, he did. And on there, they actually complained about Hattie B's, that Hattie B's kind of has taken a lot of their business because Prince's is like bare bones, man. You're getting your chicken, and if it's to go, it's just coming in a brown freaking cardboard bag. You know what I mean? Like they don't have any liquor license, so you're not getting any beer there. Hattie B's has liquor, man. I got a delicious bourbon lemonade, which was awesome. but yeah, like I said, the chicken, it was a B+, man, which is still really good, but didn't quite live up to the hype for us. And that was kind of across the board. All four of us that went there were on the same page on that.
Dude, if you're in the South, okay, I've traveled and visited the South a lot, grew up in the South. If you're in the South and you're driving and you see a cinder block building with smoke coming out of a smokestack and there's hardly any windows in it, that's where you go for any type of food. Barbecue, fried chicken. You don't want the mainstream. The more run down the building is, the better the food is. It's always the case.
Yeah, we saw a place yesterday. This was about, so we drove back last night. We had the kids with us, so we couldn't stop, but about 10 miles outside of Union City. This is like in the middle of a fucking field. There's a place called Cooter's Barbecue. Exactly what you just described. Could not be in a more horrible location, dude. It's right off of freaking the back roads, like 10 miles out of town. But it was still in business. So I was telling Sheena, I was like, you know, that place has got to be banging, dude. Like, go ahead and get the sampler, dude. Like, there's no way that place is in business unless the food is freaking jumping, man.
Yeah, there's a spot here locally called Dem Two Brothers and a Grill, and it's spot on. It's exactly what you think it would be. It's great. Here's an interesting tweet from Brett Lauderdale. I find this is. A part of me, the 90% of me thinks it's trolling Brett Lauderdale. Another part of me is like, new Triple H era. What might be?
Glad I was finally able to introduce two of my best friends, Stephanie McMahon and OG Kevin motherfucking Gill.
So Kevin Gill's obviously, you know, one of the voices of GCW, one of the commentators. Brett Lauderdale has been, when they were at Mania weekend, he posted that famous clip of him and all the GCW boys with Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
Seth, I'm going to pitch it to you. Is there any universe where WWE could form some sort of mid-90s ECW partnership with a GCW, or would that ruin GCW's credibility if they did that?
So it would definitely hurt GCW's credibility. There's the hardest of their hardcore audience would definitely be turned off. But, you know, if you're Brett Lauderdale, you can't turn that down if the opportunity presents itself. You know, before Evolve folded, they had the same thing going with Evolve. You know, Evolve was basically like the AAA farm team for NXT there for a while. You know, that's where Austin Theory came from. That's where Matt Riddle came from. They had a solid pipeline talent going there. So it would be great for the business side of GCW and for the talent, because they'd be one step closer to get on the biggest stage. And yeah, you're going to lose some of your credibility, but that's a tale as old as time for any type of artist or performer. You know what I mean? You're always going to be trading in that credibility with your core audience for the money. But at the end of the day, nobody's doing this shit for free. And especially professional wrestlers, like, you got a short window of time to earn money and you got to maximize it. So if that means you're on NXT being a freaking, you know, a wrestling janitor or whatever the hell they're going to do, the checks are going to clear, baby. Those WWE checks will clear, dude. So,
That's true. What do you think, Mike? Do you think it could ever happen, or is he just fucking with us?
I don't know. He's been very, very involved there. I mean, he was at SummerSlam. He was all over the place. So, I mean, it's very interesting. I don't know where they would fit in besides buying on the library. Maybe hiring some of the talent. I could see a hot sauce Alex Zane.
That's how it was with Evolve. They would sometimes, WWE would send guys to the big Evolve shows. You know, I think Adam Cole wrestled on one. They had Hideo Itami, aka Kenta, when he was still there. He would show up in Evolve. So you could see something like that, but I don't know. GCW is such a unique thing in the landscape of wrestling right now. It's hard to see. It's about as far away from WWE, and especially like NXT 2.0 as you can get.
Yeah.
If GCW's production value starts mysteriously getting better, I'm gonna think they're lining Lauderdale's pockets like Heyman, you know, on the hush hush, and it's gonna come out on a documentary 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I just find it funny. Like, it's one thing if Lauderdale's going to these events, and even if he's a guest of them and they're bringing him in, but he's getting snapshots with Stephanie McMahon at every one of these shows. So it's not like he's just getting his ticket. He's in the mix, getting right there with the new woman in charge. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
It was very crazy.
I got a tweet from Matt Cardona. 1 year ago, time flies when you're the deathmatch king, and it's the iconic picture of him in the ring with the beer. It's when he won the belt.
Such a moment.
Crazy that was a year ago. It seems a lot wild, like man. A lot has happened since then to me.
Yeah, I mean, Mox has had the title since All Out Weekend.
Yeah,
from last year.
He's coming up on a year with the belt. Yep.
Yeah.
Then we got another one from Nick Gage. Nick Gage with Ric Flair.
My favorite, my guy, Ric Flair is gang affiliated. That's what's up. MDK all fucking day.
I love it, man. Like, in what world do we live in where Nick Gage and Ric Flair? It's so cool. And then just to cap off the Mox Blake Christian story, one from Blake Christian.
He shares a picture of him laying on the mat all bloodied up and says, "Back to the drawing board." Rough weekend for Blake, man.
Weekend, man.
Great weekend for pro wrestling. That's all.
Great weekend. All right, so let's get into the Ain't No Jive 5, and then immediately after this little intro piece to go into this segment, I will play for everybody watching on the stream. You'll get to see some clips from the weekend. For everyone not watching in the stream and listening on the podcast, you'll just get to hear some music and the occasional audio bite from the matches. So all the more reason to watch the stream, but here we go.
Hell yeah.
The Ain't No Jive 5.
You know what it is. It's MDK.
this shit.
All right. We got
Yeah,
our
it was great
matches
reliving that
ready.
event right there.
Yeah. Dude, there were so many. When you just condense all of the high spots into a 2.5 minute clip, it's insane. I'll go ahead and kick it off with my number 5.
Hell yeah.
I'm going the Extreme title 6-man with Cole Radrick, Ratty Daddy winning, AJ Gray losing his title after a 195-day title reign, where he took the title from PCO months ago. We've kind of seen the rise of Ratty Daddy from that first death match with Oren Veidt, and now he's winning the Extreme title. I thought it was a lot of fun. You had Shane Mercer in there. You had Marco Stunt, obviously.
Yeah.
It was just a fun match. A lot of good classic GCW high spots. I enjoyed it. It's my number 5.
It was a fantastic match. Really, really fun. Awesome way to start off a show too. It came out fucking hot.
Yeah, it was a great way to start the show. Did you guys see the entrances?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I think so.
They did. So you guys saw Marco Stunt come out as the Big Show?
Yeah, with the black singlet.
I don't think that we got the music though.
Yeah, see, they did all the music. All the guys came out right before they went live. All the guys were already in the ring whenever they went live. So they hit Marco Stunt's music, then it cut off, and they hit the Big Show's music. And for a moment, everybody's thinking like, "Oh shit, is the Big Show like coming to GCW?" You know? And then Marco Stunt came out, and I mean, dude, it was a massive pop when he came out. Man.
The clip, I saw the clip. It was like a GIF clip of him coming out, so I didn't hear the music or anything, but I saw the Big Show singlet, which I popped for.
Yeah, they played his music for about 30 seconds. The fans were all getting their claps. All of a sudden, it cut out. And then you're that was the Big Show.
I love it, man. Yeah, so my number 5. This was a really, really hard one to pick. But I'm starting things off wild with Bussy versus, what is it? Los Macizos?
Macizos, yeah.
Macizos, yeah. My Spanish isn't that bad. And then the Second Gear Crew. Huge match. New tag champs. I mean, what more can you actually ask for? I thought it was a fucking crazy ass good brawl and just fun as hell to watch. I was popping so hard at the guys with the "we're on acid." So
the dudes are holding the "we're on acid" posters, and Mance Warner, they're like tripping them out.
It's perfect, man.
It's like this is GCW fans.
Did the camera ever find the guy that was asleep in the front row?
Ooh, I don't think so.
There was a guy that literally slept all night long. I don't know if he was drunk or if he had some sort of handicap or something.
There was Conrad Thompson.
Yeah, there was a few times where like the crowd was chanting like, "Wake him up, wake him up." Yeah, I didn't know if the camera found him. Dude, that match, Mike, was probably the wildest experience I've ever had as a wrestling fan. So I sent you guys the video in the group chat today.
Yeah.
So we're front row. We're opposite the entranceway, and we're basically right on the ring post. We're right in the corner, which thank God we're the seats we're in. So there's me, there's Jordan, and then there's a gentleman in a white t-shirt sitting right next to Jordan. It was his first ever wrestling show. Wow. He's never been to wrestling before in his life. His buddy that was next to him was a big fan, wanted to go to a GCW show and bought him a ticket. Guy's having a ball all night long, man. He's immediately hooked. We were eating it up, seeing how into it he was. He's taking pictures, taking video. We get into the match, right? I didn't even know that they did this kind of thing at GCW shows we're sitting there chilling, enjoying this crazy ass match. And all of a sudden, one of the medics comes running up to us in the corner, says, "Hey guys, watch your eyes, watch your eyes." So we know there's about to be some big spot, right? So, and that's when Justice busted the light tubes on him. You guys can see in the video, a huge, I think it was the socket, man, because I could see the piece on the ground, like the metal socket. There was a big shard of it, connects with the dude's arm, like right in the forearm, like right above, I don't know, I think there's some kind of artery or something right here, man. Hits right here. And he was holding his phone out, right? So his arm was kind of like flexed. I think it made it even worse, because if he was kind of just loose, maybe it'll just glance off, but he had his arm flexed. We look up, so we're keeping, we kind of got our heads turned. I can feel light dust, like shards of glass and dust hitting me. I come to, I look down, and I mean, it was about 1 inch wide, this gash on this guy's arm, man. Like, it was cut wide open. He's showing his friend. I don't know if you guys ever been cut by glass. Sometimes it's so sharp that it actually doesn't really hurt. You don't realize how bad you're cut until you look down. He's showing his friend, and within about 2 seconds, one of the staffers from GCW runs over, and I knew this was some shit that they do not typically see, because as soon as he saw the guy's arms, he screams out, "Oh my God," and they grab the guy and his friend and whisks them out of there, man. They went backstage, and they didn't come back that night. So I don't know if the dude, he probably just had stitches. I'm assuming they probably could have done that backstage. But there were still quite a few matches after this, and he didn't come back the rest of the night. So I know those boys had to have cleaned up at the merch stand, man. I know they probably got all the freebies they wanted. Oh yeah, but yeah, it was wicked, man. The glass was flying, dude. Those glass tubes, that's not a gimmick, man. Those are real glass tubes, and if you're in the front row, be ready, because after that, I took my folding chair, I folded it up, and I was basically using it as a shield the rest of that match, dude. I was like, I am not getting cut up, man. Like, it's not gonna happen.
I love it, man.
When we went to Masters of Pain, Sneed saw the amount of panes of glass stacked, and he saw the first one they cracked. There's no like net or shield when they're cracking those. It's just like going throughout the crowd, and Steve was like, "I'm gonna go in the back."
Scariest Gallagher concert you've ever been to, man.
yeah, good call. All right, where are we at? Who?
I think
Seth's number 5.
Seth's number 5.
I'll let you guys do the countdown. I'll just react to what you guys got, man.
Sweet,
love it.
Perfect.
I love it.
All right, my number 4.
Keep it moving, man. I know sometimes we have 4 or 5 people on our show, and it can really take a while, man. Everybody's digging through their countdowns and stuff. So.
Number 4, I got Psycho Clown defeating Joey Janela. I go back to the Psycho Clown match. Who was it, Mike? Was it him and Gringo?
Yeah.
With
the one with the football,
the football, yeah, the goalpost.
Unbelievable fucking match that was.
Yeah, man. Psycho Clown, Joey Janela. I thought it was a killer match,
dude. It was great. It was fun. Janela's. I love Janela's facials. When every time he's doing something, and then he looks like he's a cartoon character. Yeah,
the chair up the butt. He always brings like, even though it's like crazy hardcore shit, he's bleeding. There's always like a little tinge of comedy in Janela matches. That I appreciate.
Yeah. I love it. No, it was good though. I really enjoyed the little running. The very, very long-winded run to that really shitty dive over the chair.
Yeah, that's so good.
It was great.
He was over big time as a babyface with the audience, so they got a serious babyface with him, man. A lot of Psycho Clown chants and stuff.
Yeah.
So
he was
one of the more over guys with the live audience.
I never knew who he was. I had only heard him mentioned by Conan, because Conan, where he's a booker for AAA, I would always hear Conan talking. Psycho Clown's one of our biggest guys, great. And then when I saw him pop up on GCW, I was like, oh, this is Psycho Clown, very cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely lives up to the hype. My number 4, and again, this was really, really hard show to pick these top 5s, but I'm going with Black Taurus, Gringo Loco, and Jack Cartwheel versus ASF, Commander, and Laredo Kid. I thought I'm falling in love with these Lucha Scramble tag team jumbo matches. Like, they're just so fun. Commander has been fucking killing it lately.
Commander's
Gringo Loco as well.
WWE snap him up, man. I'm calling that right now. He'll be a WWE.
Somebody's snapping him up. I think Commander, we talked about on the last episode, I think Commander is the next Rey Mysterio, Rey Phoenix Commander. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the shit he's doing when he runs those ropes. It's insane.
Absolutely. And like he had a hell of a showing on the Ric Flair show too. Like that was awesome. And they had some loose ropes. He almost killed himself jumping off the top rope, man. It was wild, but it was so fun to watch. And like, it's just one of those kind of fuck the story, sit back,
spot
grab your
fest.
cocktail, enjoy the show. You know,
I'm not a fan of lucha style at all, really. Like I appreciate lucha wrestlers, when it's just straight up, like when they tell you it's a lucha match, so you know it's gonna be something crazy. I usually tune out, and this match still captured me, man. Like it was awesome. The guys were it was death defying, man. Like you said, Commander was awesome. He's going to be in WWE within a couple of years. Freaking Gringo Loco was cool. I was telling you, it's like if you take like Enzo Amore, like the Road Dog before he was the Road Dog, when he was the roadie, and like mix him up with like Ultimo Dragon, and there you go, dude.
Dude. we always referred to Gringo Loco as Kenny Powers meets Ultimo Dragon.
It was insane live though. That was another one of those, like, there's some matches we've described as like you could take somebody who's not even a wrestling fan and they're going to be entertained by it, and that's definitely what that one was.
No, I for sure go on that mentality. Like, I love the Lucha Bros, but when you watch them live in person, it's a completely different vibe than watching a match on TV, and you're blown away because you're like, holy shit, these guys are fucking nuts. And like, I believe if these guys probably have the same vibe when you see them live.
Black Taurus, man, he's been killing it on Impact. It was cool to see him pop up on GCW.
Hell yeah.
My number 3 is the tag match you already mentioned, Mike, the GCW tag team title match. I love Mance Warner and Matt Justice. I think both of those guys could be in a company. Like I love both of those guys. The crazy thing about that match, the Los Mazizos won the titles. I had no idea that their first reign, they had held those titles prior, and their first title reign in GCW was from May of 2018 to July of 2021. It was 1,162 days they held those belts.
Damn.
So they're coming back to get those titles. Bussy's held them for a couple months, right, Mike? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's been a while, at least 6+.
I think they won them off the Briscoes, and then
So since it's definitely for a few months. I don't know if it was 6+, but they got them right after
3 or 4 months, maybe.
Yeah, they got them right after the Hammerstein show.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, great match. Everything you love about GCW, the light tubes, the crazy chair spots, the crazy table spots, doors in GCW.
The tubes, man.
Doors were cheaper.
Yeah,
doors are a lot cheaper, especially when you're buying them pre-fucked up. Those are the best. My number 3 is 2 of my favorites. How they're not going to make the list? Mike Bailey and Tony Deppen, man. I just thought it was a fucking
crowd hated Tony Deppen, man. Solid heel,
man. Do they? I love him, and I love Mike Bailey so much too, man. His Speedball is fucking a presence, and I love watching his matches, man.
I love Kevin Gill. I love Kevin Gill's
they hit Tony Deppen in a good way.
Yeah. He's always referred to as like the dickhead.
Yeah,
like he's the dickhead of wrestling. I love Tony Deppen. My number 2 is the young prodigy Nick Wayne defeating Alex Zane. I love Alex Zane. I thought he never really got a real shot in NXT. I think he could have been somebody big in NXT before they kind of gutted the place. Nick Wayne, the flow this kid has at 17 years old is scary good. I know he's a 3rd generation kid. He's been around wrestling his entire life, but like this kid is like every match, we talk about it. Every match he's in, he gets better and better. And it's because of the talent he's put in the ring with. When he's having matches with the Alex Zanes of the world in their Rhode Island show, he had a match against Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
we always say iron sharpens iron. When you're in matches with guys like that at 17 years old, he's so like malleable. He's picking up on all of these traits. I love Nick Wayne. I can't wait to see what this kid's like at 23, 24 years old. Because at 17, he's putting on bangers.
Yeah, no, I could not agree with you more. And it was a fun match too. It was really good. Alex Zane's getting beefy, like a 5-layer burrito, man. He's getting jacked.
He is.
He looks great though. Both guys fucking killed it, and they tore the house down. It was a really, really fun match, man. Man, number 2 already. My number 2 is going for Bandito and Jordan Oliver.
I love Bandito, man.
Such a fucking fun match, man. And Jordan Oliver is just the same as Nick Wayne. Like, you know, he's just so good every time.
I could totally see him being in WWE here pretty soon. Also, he's got the look, he's got the body.
No, it was great.
That's the biggest win of Jordan Oliver's career.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a match it was too. Like Bandito is just crazy as fuck in the ring. But like you pair him with somebody like a Jordan Oliver, it's magic, man. You're printing money, printing cash, baby.
Dude, that Bandito match against Jonathan Gresham at Super Card of Honor was phenomenal. Bandito is like, he's going to be somebody big in one of the major companies in the next few years. I just feel like Bandito is on the cusp too.
He's one of those guys that catches you very off guard, especially because he's got the bandana around his face, and you see him, you're like, what the fuck is this? And then he starts wrestling, like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. My number 1, before we announce the best bout, my number 1 is the 6-man Lucha match that you brought up. Just so much fun. I mean, it's Lucha, and like Seth, it's not like that's my go-to style of wrestling. Like I appreciate it, but this match, I feel like it's all the people involved, because I love Laredo Kid, Commander, and Gringo Loco. Those 3 are like up there for me. And then ASF holds his own. Jack Cartwheel always is entertaining, and Black Taurus. Yeah, it was just a fun match. So I have that 6-man Lucha.
Yeah, that was definitely. I think that was Cartwheel's my favorite outing we've seen of him so far.
Oh yeah,
too, because it wasn't over the top. He didn't get too gimmicky with shit, but it was fun wrestling. You know, it was good. I fucking loved it. I want to see a good like triple threat match between Gringo Loco, Commander, and throw in anybody else
Bandito.
in that fucking match. Oh my god, that would melt my face. I'm here for it. My number 1 is Psycho Clown versus Janella. Big shout out to Alex Zane and Nick Wayne, though. That shit was awesome. But I love Psycho Clown so much. Janella's just gold every time he's out there. He's fun to watch. Like I said, I'm appreciating his art form much better. His facials, his gimmicky shit that he does keeps it fun, entertaining while he's getting his face ripped open and fucking a murderer. Like
he's having a blast right now. I feel like he's kind of got back into that indie mindset, and he's enjoying himself.
Yeah, he definitely benefited from getting out of AEW.
Yeah,
hey,
I think so.
Before we get into best bout, I want to make sure I'm not the only one healing off on this. What did you guys think of that intergender match right before the main event?
Oh no, we can shit down that. Usually Dark Sheik is amazing. I forgot who she fought.
Well,
Kevin Blackwood, I think. Blackwell.
Kevin Blackwood and Masha
there you
Slamovich.
Go. Yeah, no, I don't know why I said Dark Sheik.
Dude, like that match, I told you guys one thing that was cool was the crowd was super polite and appreciative to the wrestlers. You could just feel the air let out of the arena, which they were following that Psycho tag match, but still, it was late. I think we were like pushing like 1 o'clock in the morning local time, and most people are getting up early the next day for StarCast and stuff. People were just ready for that match to be over. And it lasted way too long. And then they had like 4 just ridiculous false finishes. Like I think Blackwood hit like a jumping tombstone on her, and she somehow kicked out. You could just hear the groan when she kicked out from that match or from that move. Like, dude, in this match.
No selling in that match. No selling. I love Kevin Blackwood. Typically, like the matches he's been having, he's underrated, like as far as like hard hitting matches. But that match was like, hey, let's throw selling out, because some of those false finishes towards the end, I'm like, dude, you could have ended this match 3 times.
Yeah, I think the placement on the card really hurt that match though too. Like that could have been something you did like to warm up the crowd. Not shitting on we've seen Masha do great shit too when she's paired with the right person. It just had it was just off key a little bit, like off tempo. It just it didn't flow.
I think both performers are fine. It was just that was the wrong match at the wrong time, and I'm not a huge fan. If I'm not against intergender wrestling, but I need to see all the shenanigans if it's an intergender match. You know what I mean? I need some interference, some gimmicks, everything. This was just like a straight up wrestling match. And you guys, I'm the king of kayfabe, man. I will suspend my disbelief all day long. But this one, I was just it had me rolling my eyes towards the end of it. This was a fun match. If aside from this would have been a primo, absolutely perfect card if you got rid of this one match.
Second you said that you had a match pick, and I was like, oh, I know where he's going.
It's the Bruce Pritchard let me up match. Like you're following that tag match. Like this is the, hey, let's go get a drink match. The spot at least. And I think the best intergender match I've seen that was just a straight up match in GCW was Tony Depp and Thunder Rosa. That match was killer.
Absolutely.
I forget which event it was at, but it was killer. Yeah, so let's get into best bout since we've got our bout. All right. When you list 5 matches, we all know what the match is. The best bout for me was the main event, Mox, Blake Christian. I love that Mox allowed Blake Christian to just go ham on him. He was throwing the book at Mox. And it made Mox look strong, and it made Blake Christian look like a fighter, and made it look like, hey, this kid could do it. Maybe he pulls something out. I thought it was just a fun match, man. I'm a sucker for a good Mox match, and they pulled out everything. They were throwing each other around all over the place. It was a lot of fun. It was a great way to cap that rise of Blake Christian, the underdog going against the big guy. I love that match.
Yeah, for me, you guys know I was hating on Blake Christian before the match. To me, it made him, man. Like if him and Mox go for a rematch, I can totally buy him winning now. They took the template from Bret Hart and 1-2-3 Kid, back in '94, where you have the underdog who seemingly has no chance, and they fight tooth and nail, give the champ their best, just come up a little bit short. We saw Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy had a match similar to this last year, where somebody, even in defeat, they still level up. And I think that's exactly what happened on Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, absolutely, man. I couldn't agree with you anymore. I thought it was obviously the bout of the night. It was so fucking good. It was great. I loved them trashing that arena chair by chair. The second that Mox started throwing Blake through the chairs and everything, I was just like, this is gonna be beautiful. And Blake looked like a star, and that was the greatest thing about it.
He looked like he belonged.
Dude,
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I'm a sucker here because, we're all hardcore wrestling fans here. We know the moves, we know what they're going to do, but I'm still blown the fuck away when a guy can just go running in a ring and dive over a top rope into a twisting flip and manage to know where he's going and hit his opponent. I'm not jaded at that, man. That still blows my fucking mind when these guys do shit like that. So when I think it was in the clip package that I showed where he runs and does like a backflip corkscrew onto Mox, and I'm like, how do you have control over your body? Me and Sneed talk about it on the flagship all the time. If someone were to clothesline me over the rope, I'd break my neck and I'd be dead.
It just the balls it takes to do that move, and they make it look so routine. Like it was about 1.5 years ago, man. I slipped going down the steps, crashed into the baby gate we had at the bottom of the steps, sent it flying. Looked like a fucking yard sale. Everything I had in my arms, I dropped and went flying everywhere. To this day, that was 1.5 years ago. I still get nervous walking down the steps, man. So
exactly.
All it takes to just go full speed over that top rope, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have so much respect for that shit, man, because it's absolutely fearless. You know when you're a kid, and I don't know if you guys ever went cliff jumping into a lake or something, and you get to the edge of a high cliff and you've got that hesitation of man, this is high, and then you gotta build it up and then you jump.
Yeah.
There's no room for that hesitation in wrestling. You just got to go, go, go. So the fearlessness of this in just high spots like that to this day, and I've been watching since I was 5-6 years old, still blows my mind. Still.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy shit. Flippy twists are not made for me. Like
no.
I can barely vacuum without pulling my back out. Like,
oh yeah, man, these guys are athletes. Sometimes I can't even get out of bed in the morning, and they're like doing this shit. Wow.
Yeah,
all right,
fantastic shit, man.
Great match. I think I kind of know where this is going, but let's pick our BMF of the weekend.
BMF of the weekend.
Mox.
Hell yeah.
Mox.
I'm
it's
here
got to
for
be
it.
Mox for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a lot of guys. A lot of guys stepped up. Even it could have been Blake Christian. I felt like he gained a lot from the loss. You know, you don't always have to go over to get over type of thing, but Mox continues this reign, and I picked Mox because him winning poses more questions. Like, I'm always a fan of leaving an event with questions. Like, what am I being brought back to GCW for? And it's who's going to be the guy to take Mox. So
yeah,
I picked Mox. Love the match.
Well, until Seth told us that the guy next to him who got his arm gouged out didn't come back. He's completely off the fucking list now. I'm right there with you. Mox for sure.
I'm going with that fan, man. The gentleman that got his arm split wide open at his first ever wrestling show. What a way to pop your cherry. I got to imagine that it's probably not, the Mayo Clinic backstage at GCW. So I'm assuming he's going to have a pretty wicked scar from those stitches. I'm thinking fucking take that scar right underneath GCW Nashville, 7/29, 2022. Get that shit tattooed on there, dude. You got the ultimate freaking souvenir from a wrestling show.
Live forever in infamy.
I picked up the light socket, right? So this, I'll send you guys some more pictures in the group chat. I got a picture of my Jordan 3s with blood and broken glass all in front of them, right? I think I posted it in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
I picked up the light socket, and I thought about sticking it in my pocket and leaving with it, but then I started thinking like, this guy might have fucking hepatitis, monkeypox, or whatever. Back on the ground. But I almost took the light socket that cut him open for a souvenir.
That's great.
Wow.
So
I love it,
man. Great event. Just looking ahead, quick little update for you guys of what to look forward to. We'll be returning on Monday, August 15th. That'll be the Monday after GCW's homecoming weekend. I believe they have homecoming night 1 and 2. Cardona will be renewing his wedding vows that weekend. Mox will be there. It'll be a big weekend for GCW. I think that's one of their premier shows. And then after that, we've got Sanctified in Charlotte, North Carolina on August 19th. Hope to Die in Atlanta on August 20th. And then they go to Liverpool, England for a shot of dates in mid-September. And there's more stuff coming, so stay up to date on GCW. Give us a follow. We're at Turnbuckle Tavern on IG. Just follow. Go to theturnbuckletavern.com. You can follow everything we got there. And Seth, give us a plug. Where can we find you guys? Chick Foley.
Once again, follow at Chick Foley on Instagram, or you can go to chickfoley.com to get access to the podcast, the store, everything, all things Chick Foley. And another reminder, follow at Pod Foundation on Instagram. That's the easiest way to stay up to date with us,
everybody,
the Tavern Boys, Extra Cooler, and old J Bone coming down the aisle. So yeah, it's like I said, there's other great wrestling podcasts out there, but you could totally get by just listening to the Pod Foundation, and we got all bases covered for all your wrestling past, present, and future.
Yeah, if you follow at Pod Foundation, I feel like the Pod Foundation is like the independent Conrad Thompson. We don't have the money of Conrad, but we're putting out just as good of quality, but
and such a wide variety of stuff. We got, we're kind of like, we kind of stick like to the mainstreams, we're WWE heavy and action figure heavy. You guys cover pretty much it all. Extra Cooler goes hard on the nostalgia. And then J-Bone, I don't know if you guys listen to much ESPN radio. I call him like the Colin Cowherd of the Pod Foundation. He gets on there just solo. He'll go on a 40-minute monologue, just like fucking it's like Rush Limbaugh, just stream of consciousness. You know what I mean? He'll let it breathe, man. He'll throw something out there, and then you'll have like 8 seconds of silence, dude, just waiting for what comes next, man. He's fucking,
I told him one time,
dude.
It's super impressive. It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys listen to a comedy podcast, but Bill Burr has the Monday morning podcast, and it's just Bill Burr by himself
ranting.
J-Bone's the Bill Burr podcast. But Seth, dude, thanks for coming on the show. Had a blast.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait to come back and talk some more GCW with you guys in 2 weeks. Again, appreciate you watching. I guess we're gonna have to disappear into the spooky dust. Until next time, keep grinding that axe, and long live GCW.
Look at fun.
Fucking dick.